G'day Tank fans, I'm Dan. Crackdown was a refreshingly original title when it landed with a thud on the Xbox 360 back in 2007. The open world shooter saw you as a genetically modified agent. Read that, a super cop, tasked with bringing the chaos and the gang problems scattered across Pacific City to order. The tall buildings strewn across the city were just begging to be climbed, and the gang strongholds were ripe for infiltrating. Each stronghold had its own strengths and weaknesses, and the game was very good at leaving you to come up with your own strategies and tactics to deal with each specific problem. I'll come straight out and say that the sequel isn't as big a departure from the first title as some may have expected. What we need to decide now is whether it needed to be different in the first place. Onwards.
Finish it off. Injured freaks pose just as much threat as the others.
There are bound to be those who find Pacific City itself a little too similar to the first game. It's near identical, certainly in terms of layout, and if you're expecting a whole new city, you'll be sorely disappointed. If you think about it as seeing an old friend though, you'll soon forgive this.
Head for the marker. I'll update you when you get there.
You're back here to put right the problems caused by the outcome of the first game. Unsurprisingly, in the intervening time, the city has gone to shit. There are two main objectives in Crackdown 2. Eradicate the freaks and take down the Cell, a violent anti-agency cell hell-bent on stopping you at any cost. Cell strongholds need to be penetrated and cleared so the agency can swoop in and claim the land back. Lots of killing basically. Alan Titchmarsh will be delighted. The freaks, however, are a slightly bigger problem, mostly because there are thousands and thousands of them all over the city. Ruffian have done a fab job of getting a lot of them on screen all at once. You won't have to take them all on one by one, thankfully. What you're tasked with doing is activating Project Sunburst, which isn't a huge ice lolly, sadly. It's an anti-freak protection system that's installed all over the city, but is currently switched off. It's like the bit in Jurassic Park where they're trying to get the door locks to work. Kinda. There are strategically placed absorption units all over the city that need powering up, and you guessed it, they're heavily guarded by both Cell and the freaks. Once you've switched on 3 absorption units in the same area, the agency will drop a beacon into the nearest freak lair. Switch this on too, and protect it from a freak onslaught as it powers up, and you'll clear the whole area of freaks in one big blue flash. Do this 9 times and you're onto a winner. As the game progresses, the freaks get bigger and stronger, and more plentiful. Yikes. It's kind of disappointing that the main bulk of the game is based once again on such repetitive tasks. It is fun to play, but I can't help feeling that it doesn't really address the repetition issues of the first title. In fact, the way you had to weaken the kingpin of each gang by taking out the henchmen in the first game is actually a much more interesting and rewarding game mechanic than switching on beams of light and powering up bombs.
Good work. With those 3 absorption units activated, we can now deploy the first beacon.
It's a shame really, because the game looks amazing, and once again there's huge potential in the game world that isn't fully exploited. Maybe DLC will go some way to rectifying this, but it would have been nice to have a meatier game right out of the box. One thing the game does very well is build up your agent through leveling up. Your agility, strength, weapons, explosive and driving skills will all have to be powered up from scratch, although it doesn't take too long to get to where you want to be. Agility, for example, is built up by collecting green agility orbs, of which there are 500 scattered around the city, mostly in high, hard to reach places. It's carelessness really, I collected them all up in the first game. Each time you collect one, it adds to your agility total, and periodically you'll get a big upgrade splash that lets you jump higher and reach even more difficult to reach spots. It's a good incentive mechanism that keeps you wanting to play and explore, and ensures you can't see everything Pacific City has to offer in one sweep of the game world. Players of the first game, though, may again find it all a little too similar. A disappointing omission is also present in the vehicles, as they no longer power up with your agent and transform into cooler looking, faster, more deadly cars as you progress. It was a neat little feature in the first title and is sadly missed here. The weapons are great though, from the more basic weapons you start with to the grenade launchers, shotguns and rocket launchers you can collect along the way. And shooting an explosive barrel in the middle of a freak horde will never get old. Boom splats!
That's the way. Wear 'em down.
The co-op mode is greatly improved, so if you enjoyed spreading tough justice with a mate first time around, the 4-player mode will be right up your badly surfaced, freak-stained, explosive barrel-laden street. The 16-player versus mode could well eat into a significant portion of your summer. You can always do that round the world trip next year, yeah? The freedom of the city is amazing, and it's still exhilarating jumping from rooftop to rooftop serving justice to the warring factions. It's a great game, and anyone who adored the first one will surely find a place in their gaming collection for this title too. There's a lot of fun to be had, and I'm sure, as I also found with the first title, it'll be making your own games up in a co-op party that really gives the title some much deserved longevity. But if you were indifferent to the first Crackdown, or simply don't want more of the same, there's not enough here to really warrant a purchase. Which is a shame really, because I can't help feeling that this could have been so much more. Crack Attack! Wow, that could actually apply to so many other things. Cut that. Oh.
Keep it real. Keep it GameTank.